All right, I'm going to talk you through how to use Freytag's pyramid to deconstruct a story. Because you are going to be making your own Freytag's pyramid. So I want to show you how it can be applied. In Freytag's pyramid, we're really talking about exposition, inciting incident, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. Great. So we've talked about it, but what does it really look like in a story? So to do this, the truth is you can do this with any story. I have chosen a very, very, very simple story because it's easy to see it. My challenge to you is to find a story that you just adore. So like if you're a Star Wars fan, you can totally use Freytag's pyramid to break down Star Wars, right? But for this, I chose a simple, short children's story. So as I'm reading through this, and I'm just going to read you the story because copy and pasting wasn't working all that well, I want you to think about this Freytag's pyramid, and I want you to think about how the story might be broken down, okay? And I'm not reading everything on here because it's a little bit chunky. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a king and a queen who lived in a golden castle with their beautiful daughter. One night, an ugly ogre captured the beautiful princess and locked her up in his tall, dark tower. "Help me!" cried the princess. The king and queen were very sad. They promised to give half of the kingdom and their daughter to the knight that rescued the princess. All of the knights in the land wanted to rescue the princess. They rode to the tower as fast as they could. The ugly ogre roared with anger when he saw the knights. His roar was so scary that they all ran away as fast as they could. One day, a friendly dragon was flying over the ogre's tower. Suddenly, he heard the princess crying for help. The dragon flew down to the tower and saw the poor princess. He immediately fell in love with her. He took a big fiery breath and blew the ogre far away over the mountains and into the ocean. "Come with me, princess. Don't be scared," the dragon said. "Thank you for saving me," the princess said happily. The dragon rescued the princess from the tower and gently put her on his strong back. They flew high into the sky. They flew over the tower and the castle, over the mountains and caves, and out toward the deep blue ocean. "Whee! I can fly!" cried the princess happily. When the dragon and the princess flew to the castle, the princess kissed the dragon and thanked him once again. As she kissed, the dragon turned into a handsome young prince. The ugly ogre cursed the prince a long time back, but with the princess's kiss, the curse was now broken. The king and queen were so happy to see the princess. They gave Prince half of their kingdom and their daughter to the prince. Soon they both got married and lived happily ever after. Okay, so that's a really short story, but we can break this down using Freytag's pyramid. Before we go any further, do you want to guess? I'll give you a moment to think about it. So exposition, like we've talked about, exposition is what happened before. And so if we go to the story, what was already happening? You've got the king and the queen, and they're living in this golden castle with their beautiful daughter. So if we didn't have this inciting incident, so if the ogre didn't kidnap the king and queen, or the princess, this just would have continued happening, right? The king and queen and the princess would be living in the castle, and the princess would grow up, and it would be happy, la-di-da, right? But then something happens. That's the inciting incident. So for this, the thing that changes, the thing that keeps the princess from living happily with her parents for always, is the ogre kidnaps the princess. Okay, and so the thing that changes from every day to what's happening. Great. So the ogre has kidnapped the princess. And so the king and queen, they do things, right? They're really sad. And then they've offered a reward, right? So the king and queen are very sad and they offer a reward. And then the knights, they try to save her and they're scared away. So we've got this rising, and it really starts to build tension, right? So first of all, oh no, we have this realization. And then the king and queen try a tactic. What do they do to get their daughter back? They offer a reward. And so the knights act on that reward. But oh no, they're thwarted. So 2 steps backwards. So that's built some tension. We thought that we could fix it. We weren't able to fix it. And then there's a dragon, so we've kind of escalated, right? Somebody new comes into play. Dragon sees the princess, falls in love, and decides to save her. And then the climax is when all of that tension comes to a head. In this very simple story, we have a boss battle between the ogre and the dragon. And we don't know who's going to win. Oh no, but then the dragon wins. And so once we have this climax, this boss battle, with all of this tension has built up to this, and it pops. Finally, the dragon wins, and the princess has a fun ride home. So the tension kind of de-escalates, right? So we're going to kind of let the pieces kind of fall out. Shika, 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 shika. So they have a fun ride home, and so the princess decides she likes the dragon. She kisses him on the nose, but he turns into a prince. Great. Okay. All of this falling action, the tension is being released, the tension is being released. And the resolution. So notice that the exposition isn't at the same place that the resolution is, because whenever these major events happen, we like to think that the characters end in a different place than where they began. And in this very simple story, it's true. The king and queen, they're happy to have their daughter back, and the prince marries into the family, and there are rewards, right? And everybody is happy. And so the tension is resolved. So, exposition, life as usual. Inciting action, something happens to change life as usual. Rising action, tension builds as the characters in play try to deal with the conflict. Climax, all of that tension erupts. Falling action, the tension has been dealt with, sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. But it's that tension is slowly releasing. Things are kind of falling out. The pieces are kind of coming into place. And then we have a resolution. Kind of the where do people end after all of the tension from the climax has kind of fallen out or shaken out and stuff like that. So you will make a Freytag's pyramid that looks like this, but you are also going to include some of the Aristotle's elements in this. So I'll make another video to talk about those Aristotle's elements.